Hi, I'm Jeffrey Hughes. I'm professor of art history and criticism at Webster University and the director of Hunt Gallery. I am also the primary curator for this and other exhibitions. In this case, I've been more the organizer, as the exhibition itself was curated in Japan. All of the pieces are from the Tokyo University of the Arts, which is the most prestigious art school in Japan. The curator and colleague friend, Michael Schneider, is a professor of printmaking there. And so several of these works are by professors in this printmaking studio, as well as some graduate students. The term publish or perish comes from academia, where there's almost a joke, except it's not a joke, of the necessity for professors to publish or not become tenured, hence the publish or perish part. But this idea is a little more to the art itself, that if it's somehow not disseminated, in the future it no longer exists. The history of art is really the history of published art. And if we think about that for a while, it's absolutely true. We only know of past art by the art that's illustrated in books, that art historians have taken the time to isolate this work as something that we want to remember. But then what of all the other works that have gone away? The basic conceit is the idea that unless works are out in the public, unless somehow we can get these into the hands, into the viewer's ability to somehow come in contact with them, that they really are perishable and will in the future. The interesting thing, though, about prints themselves is they're quite easily disseminated. They're reproducible. And so they are always, in essence, being published. Rosalind Krauss wrote a very influential article called Sculpture in the Expanded Field, where she argued that sculpture is not just that thing that's on a plinth, but can be architectural, can be various things. What we're looking at is printmaking in the expanded field. We always think of prints as being two-dimensional surface, right? Something that's flat, but as you look around, there's video objects, a whole sort of a department store display. This work obviously is an object. It's made out of resin on an armature, but it is actually a print. And it's very purposefully blue to be a reminder of blueprints, a former way of reproducing architectural drawings. But the clock itself is also reminiscent of memory. Memory is a very big part of what's going on here. How we recall something from the past, or how we collect the past. The work over here is part of what the artist Takehishi calls the Bird Encyclopedia. Now, he has invented those species, but it's part of a much, much larger project of cataloging birds that don't quite exist. And one of the things that happens in many of the works is trying to really spur a memory, but not describe it. So you'll see in 3 or 4 works, artists have created a language that is not legible, but it seems to be. Michael Schneider, which is actually done in a performative manner as he works on woodcut. And so by making that woodcut print very directly linked to the history of Japanese printmaking. But then the text that's involved is a fiction. It looks like Japanese. They're made to look like characters, to remind us of characters. And we have described it as a kind of altarpiece. In Shingon Buddhism, there's a trend to create calligraphy as a meditation. And the Buddhist sutras were written in Sanskrit, but as they were then transmitted to China and then eventually Japan, the way the Devanagari script is formed is not quite the same as the sutras. And so this calligraphic process would often be writing faux Sanskrit as a meditation because it was understood that that kind of text linked to the Buddhist sutras. And so that's sort of being done in some of these works. This exhibition, Publish or Perish, will be open until January 18th of 2022. One can dial 314-246-7171 and ask for information about our opening hours, and please stop by.